You are now listening to the Cinnamon and Sugar Podcast featuring D'Angelo Williams and Gary Barnage. You push play and they'll push the limits.
Hey, it's your boy Tom here, and we are back with another episode of the Cinnamon and Sugar Podcast. Woo, fellas, the mailbox has been flooded with all the positive reviews of Space Jam this week, and I just am overwhelmed, but we ain't going to talk about that.
Well, we know that's a lie.
I hate everything about your intro just then, other than it's your boy Tom here with another episode of Cinnamon and Sugar. After that, it went to shit. Okay, I just want to make sure that we let that be known. However, I can say this. I checked social media, my timeline, and I ran through, and there was a lot of people say, hey, if you hated Space Jam, then you just a hater. I don't understand that because I didn't like the first one either. So if I didn't like the first one and I didn't like the second one, how does that automatically make me a hater? I just know that the first one was more enjoyable than the second one because I didn't really know what the plot was. And then once I got the plot down, I'm like, oh, okay, all right, I've been there, done that. But yeah, I think it was an awful movie.
I think everybody just got to say you're a hater because it's that bad of a movie. Oh, you're a hater. Like, as a true movie critic, it's not a good movie. Yeah. And that's the problem I think everybody has. They're stuck on their fandoms. That's all it can be. That goes both ways. That's why people die on the bridge defending the original Space Jam 2. It's only a 5 out of 10. It's not an amazing movie. No, but again, people die on the bridge. They love their guys, and they stick by it no matter what.
That's time. Time's gonna die on that bridge.
I think that's my thing though, is if you can't say that the original Space Jam was not all that, I mean, because obviously we loved it because nostalgia, we watched it as kids, but somebody literally tried to tell me that Michael Jordan was a good actor the other day.
No, ain't nobody tell you that. You just lied on this podcast.
That's
you lied
also
on
like
this podcast. Ain't nobody told you that.
Hold on. We remember, I've heard people say, oh, LeBron James is a great actor from his 30-second spot in a movie Trainwreck. That is not good acting. Like, I don't care what you say, just because you have a 30-second spot does not make you a good actor as a cameo. So I hate when people do that because they don't know. It's their fandom. That's all it is.
I do have to say this. And I have been waiting to the perfect opportunity, and the perfect opportunity is now. And I don't want to pass this up, and I hate having to say this, Gary. I really do, because I really love disagreeing with you, but you are the first person on this podcast. When LeBron James said that he was going to LA, you said it best. You said he's going there to do what? Make movies. He
Correct.
did exactly what you said he was going to do, and time fought you tooth and nail. He was like, "No, he's going to." Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
LeBron even said he was going there for the business purposes of making movies. Boy, you've been smoking some of that.
No, he made a movie, and he found out that he is trash at making movies. I hope he changed. I hope he get his shit together. I do. I really do. I hope he either change teams or change the fact that he really wants to be an actor.
He won't, just because you had the diehards that are going to go watch him and support him no matter what. They're not realistic, and that's the thing that kills me. Nobody's realistic when it comes to Jordan or LeBron. Nobody's realistic. It's their guy or the highway. They're not impartial. I'm not a fan of either one, and I can honestly say Jordan's better, and I don't like either one of them. I just go by everything that I've seen, but I'm a hater because of that. And that's not the thing. I don't say LeBron's not good. LeBron is arguably the second best player of all time.
Yeah, well, see, this is what you fall into, though, Gary. When we talk about, LeBron James, we talk about, Michael Jordan, we can say Cristiano Ronaldo, we could talk about Pele, we could talk about world athletes that are on the national stage. We all know that people don't watch them because of their athletic talent. People watch them because of how much money that they make, okay? Because there's a lot of people out there that have athletic talent that are at the top of their game that are not getting paid a lot of money, and we just kind of breeze right by. I'm like, oh, okay. But as soon as they start making money, we just like, oh, who is this guy? With that being said,
I don't know about that.
I'm gonna tell you this.
They make a lot of money. I don't watch them.
I'm gonna tell you this. You watch Tiger Woods. He was the only one that was making money like that. Was Tiger Woods.
I got you.
Tiger Woods was the one. And when Tiger was up swinging and you was flipping through the channels, your ass stopped and wait till he finished swinging. I bet you did. Everyone did. I'll give you another example, and I'll get to my point. I never am in a million years will watch baseball. I think it's the worst shit to ever watch on TV. It's worse than golf. It's absolutely worse than golf.
Ooh.
But when Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire was going after that home run record, and I was flipping the channels, and one of them was up the bat, shit, I'm staying there. I gotta
But
watch and see
that's
what's
more about it being
I wasn't.
exciting. That's not how much money they make.
See, mine wasn't. I liked, for me, it was pitchers. Like Pedro Martinez dominating made me watch.
What?
And I grew up playing. So watching
Ooh.
a pitcher dominate a team like Pedro or Roger Clemens would be.
You didn't like the big unit?
I loved Randy Johnson. Randy Johnson was amazing. Him and Kurt Schilling on the Diamondbacks pitching, 1-2 was outrageous. Like that, I'm not, because there's more skill to trying to strike people out. It still takes skill to hit a home run, but if you hit in the right spot, it can go out.
Right.
Like, I think it takes a lot more skill to shut people out.
Yeah, but my whole point is this, Tom. My whole point is this. Cristiano Ronaldo right now can make that same movie and it'll do the same numbers that LeBron. It'll do better. It'll do better. Not because he's a good actor, but because that many people is interested in what Cristiano Ronaldo has going on. So I'm telling you right now, nobody gives a fuck that LeBron James is a horrible actor. They just like what he does for the game of basketball and his activism that he does, that if he does anything, it's going to garner eyes. Not because it's good, but because it's LeBron James. That's what fantasy football, fantasy basketball, and this fantasy and this FanDuel and all these pop-up gambling sites. Yeah, these pop-up gambling sites are taking advantage of. It's single-handedly taking the power from the team and giving it to each individual player, because now I don't give a damn about the team. I just want my player to do good because I need you to win me some championships. Right. And that's what's going on right now. That's the effect of fantasy basketball or fantasy just in general taking over the sport. It's single-handedly giving the power to the players. So guess what? Like Albert Pujols, when he was big in baseball, had he made a movie, shit, it'd have been just as big as LeBron James' movie. Because he garnered those eyes. Cristiano Ronaldo, if he decided that he wanted to put a movie together, it's going to do way better than his. And it could be like a Slumdog Millionaire type movie that up until the end may not make any sense at all. You just like, dude, this is stupid as hell. But it'll be number one in the box office. So again, I'm asking you, when you say it's a good movie, what are you referencing it to? What are you comparing it to?
His fandom.
The tops, like Aladdin and...
You know. Garrett, what you do? What did you do this weekend? You tripping, bro. I almost got all the way out of character.
That's the thing. You can't have an honest conversation.
Bro, I hate talking to him. Go ahead, Garrett. What did you do this weekend, man?
I cleaned up a little bit. I did some gaming and cleaned up some more, and that's about.
Oh hell no! I ain't finna let you scam over this because I had a conversation with you about this. What was the coaches meeting about? I know you had a coaches meeting on what was it, Thursday or Friday?
It was last Tuesday.
Last Tuesday. How was your coach? What did y'all talk about? Like, hey, we're gonna have a shitty season again. I just want to let y'all know that we're gonna go out and we're gonna try to look good. I just want to know what are the coaches saying to you, because again, y'all didn't win a game last year. So I mean, you truly starting from the bottom. You truly start.
I can't wait to take your $500 per win.
But I'm telling you right now, Gary. I can't make this up. I played football for a very long time. You have played football for a very long time, and Tom has watched football for a very long time.
Hey, I played paper football before school. You know what I'm saying? Where you flick that thing and it. Okay, anyway, sorry.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you something. There's two sides to every coin. I'm going to tell you the head side. The head side is the coaches. Okay. The head side is the coaches. They're going to put you in all the right positions. They're going to give you all the right coaching. They're going to be the ones that hold you accountable, right? When you flip that coin over, it's a tails, right? On the tails side of that coin, you have the players. The players necessarily, they work with each other, but it takes both sides to make this coin. You ain't got both sides, brother. you got the coaching staff, but you got shitty players. And then when you got good players, you got shitty coaches. So I'm trying to see when you're going to put it together.
This $500 per win is going to be nice. I can't wait for AFW.
Bro, it ain't gonna happen. I'm telling you. I know one of the coaches there. He ain't committed.
I'm always committed. So you asked what we thought about. It's more of just like a normal coaching staff would be. It's like, okay, you're going over to players. First you have to go over who's JV, who's varsity, all that type of stuff. And then you're also going over, hey, here's your duties that you're going to be doing each day in practice. Here's how the practice schedule is going to go. Your duties that you're going to have game day, and here's what you're in charge of game week, all that kind of stuff. Just breaking down the monotonous stuff that coaches have to go through to get prepared for game weeks and all that kind of stuff. Just like as players, we hated that crap because it's right. Redundant. It's the same stuff over and over again. Okay. That type of stuff. It's the same meetings, stuff.
Can I interview you, Gary? Can I interview?
Go ahead.
I really want our listeners to hear this because.
You're going to love it because media guys hated interviewing me and my answers. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, this is going to be a great interview because I really want you to help our listeners understand this. So we saw the Miami Dolphins. We seen a team go 0-16 in the National Football League. Like, what is it like being a coach on the team that you're on right now in high school? They didn't win a game, obviously. Like, what do you tell them to keep their morale up when they literally haven't won a game? Like, how are you motivating me to do something when I know that there's nothing there? You see what I'm saying?
So we used what we won in the spring game we won. So you use that as momentum. Okay. And then you also go off of how the games went last year. You see, okay, hey, we were within 3 points of this game and we had a turnover because it was just bad ball security. So you bring up the positives that happened in the game. You don't harp on the negatives. You only talk about the positives and you keep them focused on that. And once they focus on that, then they can see what they can do. Hey, we had opportunities to win games and we choked it ourselves away. They didn't do anything to make it happen. It was us. Just like when Memphis lost the game because their running back fumbled against Louisville, it was the running back's fault. It wasn't the team. It was the running back's fault. So because he let the ball go. So like stuff like that.
I see you took a little shot there at the end. You still take a little shot time. I was just asking, man, because I know. So it's the opposite.
That's what you had to do. You have to give them positives. You can't obviously you're going to bring up negative stuff because you have to show. Hey, they have to learn from it. But that's why you're focusing on the new stuff. It's behind you.
It's very interesting. It's very interesting, Gary. And the reason why I wanted to interview you and ask you that question is because it's the complete opposite when you have a team that's 6-1 or 5-2 or 8-3. It's more so, hey, you're 1 or 2 plays from being 4-4, or you're 1 or 2 plays from being 3-5. So
you got to fight the team being complacent at that point. Oh, we're good, we know it, and then you play down to the level of the team you're playing, and then you lose, and then you're like, well, what just happened? Well, y'all didn't take it serious.
Okay, that makes sense. So Gary, you're going against the number 1 team in Florida. They got a lot of dogs on their team and all that. You're the head coach, and you have the team that you have right now. How do you get them prepared to get this ass whooping that they're about to get? Because I saw how bad y'all are. So if y'all playing against the number 1 team,
no, you just all you do.
Get what I'm asking, though?
Yeah, all you do is you just gotta. Hey, we're gonna game plan so those players can't affect the game. We're gonna, if it's a DN, we're gonna run away from them. Okay. And then they're gonna have to stack the box, and then we'll do a screen or something backside, or we'll hit them backside where they're over pursuing. You have to use their strengths against them.
Okay, I apologize, Gary, because I that interview was supposed to show me that you wasn't ready, but it did the complete opposite. It showed me that you was. I apologize. Again, I know at the end of this year, I'm still not gonna have to pay shit. I'm not gonna have to pay anything because I mean, I'm pretty confident, not in the coaching staff, but in the kids that y'all have there, that they're going to live up to my expectations of letting me down.
It's going to be interesting when you end up coming here for a practice and they all hear this and you go see everybody.
Oh, I'm cool with that. I'm gonna talk just like you do. I'm gonna lie to them just like you. Hey, y'all got this. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can do it.
All you got to do is listen to the podcast and be like, oh, well, he's a liar.
You're one or two plays. You're 1 or 2 plays for having a winning record, even though y'all got y'all ass smacked 52-6. Like,
D, wow.
Yeah, but what I did this
week. Hold on. Before you go for what you did this weekend, we got to shout out our sponsor, Snickers. when you're hungry, grab a Snickers. If you have a friend that likes to hijack the podcast, grab a Snickers to eat while they're taking it over. And we appreciate you to sponsor this next segment.
Hey,
Snickers.
you was real close, Tom. You real close. You getting real close to these little words and shit. I'm really calling me what you want to call me, bro. I like if you.
All right. So what'd you do this weekend?
So now you calling me a Snickers? Okay. All right. No. So this weekend, I went on a 50-mile bike ride on Sunday, which
Are
was
you
yesterday.
sure you did? Or did
Yeah,
you,
because I didn't ride on Friday. I didn't ride on Saturday. The guys went out to Boone and they did 45 miles of 4,500 feet of elevation climb. I don't know if you guys know, but that's a lot of elevation. That's just mountain climbing, basically 6, 7, 8, probably 10, 12% grade for miles. It's 1,000 miles every 10 miles, basically, which is insane. But they went on that, and I kind of set it out because it was a 2-hour drive to get there, and I'm like, I'm not taking a 2-hour drive to get there. So I ended up riding on Sunday, which we did 50 miles at almost a 21 mile per hour pace. It was fun. It was not hot, so it was great. But I didn't really do anything. But I watched the Olympics, bro. I watched the Olympics, and I have so many questions, bro.
Well,
So
let's hear
many
'em.
questions. And not only do I have so many questions, I'm gonna tell you that got me. I wanna ask y'all this: what Olympic sport have you watched that you ideally don't watch on a normal basis, and you just like that shit's stupid, but it's hard though? I'm gonna tell you what I was watching, bro. I was watching synchronized diving, and all I could think about was Gary couldn't be my partner because his neck is so jacked up that he wouldn't be able to do some of the moves, and he'll hinder us like he did us in the Amazing Race.
Well, Gary's
So-
going to be your partner because you don't know how to swim.
No, I do know how to swim. Gary doesn't know how to dive. I'm telling you right now, he
That's
wouldn't be
why.
able to look to see where he going to dive because he has limited movement in his neck. But I felt like an hour and a half, dude. I'm watching synchronized diving. And by the end of this, I understood everything. The penalties, what was going, like why people was getting penalized for certain things, that 6 points to 7.5 was good. Anything below that, like 5.5 or less, was just average. It was crazy. Just
What's the most complicated dive you saw?
3.4, bro. It was the last one, and it was we tried the USA. We tried to do it. It was 3.4. We did 3.1. The harder the dive, the synchronized dive, the lighter they go on them judging it, if it makes any sense. If it's an easy dive, then they're more critical on you. But if it's a harder, more complicated dive, they take in the fact that it's a complicated dive, and so they kind of give you like this learning curve, if you will. But yeah, I'm sitting there watching it, and it was America. They tried to get back in it. They needed X amount of points just to get bronze, and fell short because one lady hit the water before the other lady, or didn't go all the way vertical, like they say in the analytics. But yeah, I watched it for an hour and a half, dude. Didn't understand shit at first and completely understood it. I just wanted to know if y'all was watching an Olympic sport that you don't ideally normally watch, that's like weird, but you just like, oh, this shit's kind of cool today.
I actually have not watched any of it recently, but I would say the one that usually gets me is either like the little rings, like the rings you hang on and you do all the little crap like that, because there's so much upper body
Gymnastics,
strength.
yeah.
Yeah, that, and then like even with the balance beam in gymnastics, like I don't have the balance like that to do that kind of stuff, and they're doing all these flips and crap.
Yeah.
That stuff's amazing to me. What they can do.
They say that the pommel horse is actually probably the hardest event. That's that one where they look like
Run and they flip off.
Yeah.
Of it.
No,
What
that's,
do you-
that's the vault. The pommel horse is where they are like it's on.
Oh.
It looks like they're on the vault. Yeah, and they're like kind of doing like b-boy moves on top of it. You know what I'm saying?
What was your event, Tom, that you watched?
So I'm trying to think of Summer Olympics. I know for the Winter Olympics, it's the curling when they bust out those brooms and throw the little pucks down the ice, and they like you seen that? That's my.
Why would you go for the unathletic one? Like boy, I tell you,
It's
just
time. Come on.
Right?
Yeah.
Come on.
I feel like that and this is just me, and I've never played it in my life, okay? But I feel like if you put me out there, I would be able to compete with the best of them because 100%, bro. 100%. 100%. It's pushing the damn start.
You can't even beat me in shuffleboard. How are you going to beat me in that?
Bro, that's because you have a shuffleboard.
Okay.
We
always you don't think they do this all the time?
You know all the hazards and shit at on your shuffleboard. I don't.
And you don't know the hazards on the thing either.
Well, I will because we all be playing on the same one. We'll all be coming from different countries playing on the same one.
Disagree.
Which leads me to this. So this weekend, so obviously before the Olympics came, I watched the qualifying. I watched everybody having the qualifying stuff like that. And I'm like, dang, this is stupid. Why is Simone Biles, one of the greatest Olympians of all time, why is she having to compete or qualify for the Olympics, whereas these people on the basketball team are just picked, chosen, and they can't win a fucking game? Somebody explain that to me.
Well, I think it's the difference between, you can't, how do you test the individual talent of a basketball player?
Well, the problem we have with NBA is the best players in the NBA don't all choose to play. You have to try and get people to play. That's the thing is like the best players in the NBA, half of them don't even want to play in the Olympics, or they've done it already and they're good. They're over it. And so they're just picking and choosing players that, hey, we can get to come do it, which isn't our best players. And some of them aren't even the best players in the world. So, and as you see, Evan Fournier can lead a team back to beat us.
Yeah, but we're talking about the best basketball players in the world. Like
a lot of the NBA players are foreign, so they're playing on those teams overseas that are playing too against the U.S.
Yeah, I used to be the one to say, hey, the Giannis and the Bucks are world champions. I don't think so now. I don't know if they can beat a European team. I don't know if they can beat France. I don't know if the Bucks can beat France in a 7-game series. I don't know that. I understand that the refs and everybody over in Europe, they call it, Tokyo, they call things a little different because of the European Basketball League. I don't give a damn about that. Basketball is basketball no matter where you go in the world. It's a 10-foot basketball goal. The diameters and the parameters are the same as it relates to the court. I don't give a damn how hard they foul you. I don't care if you're a serial flopper like LeBron James. When you go to Tokyo or you go to the Olympics, period, I don't give a damn where you go. If you represent the United States or represent the last name on your back, I expect you to give me everything that you got, especially when you represent the whole country. But to lose to France and go, we're 1-4 right now, I think, and we just lost the first one in group play. Everybody was like, it's an exhibition. Don't worry about it. Bro, we got KD on our team. KD, arguably, let's make sure we talk about this the right way, because Gary, you said all our best players don't play. Now, correct. We're talking about Kevin Durant. Okay,
he's one of our best players, correct?
Right. Depending on who you talk to, he is the best player in the NBA. Depending on who you talk to. Correct. So we'll throw Giannis in there, we'll throw LeBron James in there, we'll throw Steph Curry in there. Let's just go top 3, 4, 5, right? Why the fuck are we losing games, bro? Why are we losing games? We got Kevin Durant on our team. Giannis just won the championship by himself. You're telling me Giannis is better than Kevin Durant?
Well, here's the thing: is I don't think these guys.
I gotta hear this. I don't think these guys. Go ahead, Tom. I want to hear this.
Well, I think what's their difficulty they're having is the meshing together, because you have all these individual talents, and we've seen time and time again that team basketball, whenever the talent is, because that's the big thing, the talent level across the world has gotten better as a whole. So whenever you have the talent level come up, the fact that some of these teams actually play together more often, like, and have that continuity, maybe they plug in 1 or 2 NBA guys that are not there, they're going to be better. They're going to have more chemistry, and it's hard to put pieces into a puzzle. And I really think Team USA would need more time, even though they probably are the most talented roster. But we've seen it. The better team that can play better team basketball, and especially with these international rules, it's kind of different.
Let me make
It's
sure I
gonna
get this
win.
right. Let me make sure I get this right, Tom, because I hadn't did any research. I'm pretty sure you haven't either, Gary. I'm pretty sure you haven't. You're telling me right now, as we talk about the Olympics and our basketball team suffering and going 1-4, you're telling me that the teams that they're playing against have been together longer and have gelled, and they're not picking their teams like we
Which
picked
isn't
ours?
true either. I mean, that's
Yeah,
not.
that's what it sounds like you're saying. That sounds like the excuse you're giving me right now, Tom. Because if France did the exact same thing that we did and we lost, then we are awful, bro. We are awful.
There is 5 players in the NBA that were on Team France that has not played with the other guys, so the continuity thing doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so I need a better excuse than that, Tom. That shit ain't.
You're a
flying.
resident basketball.
Well, I'm
guy.
not saying that. I don't know. You're right. I don't know exactly how much time they spent together playing, but I know as a whole, these guys have spent more time together playing than the guys in the NBA. Like there are people on there that have played together.
Okay, so with that being said, this is what I see it as, and I'm gonna do some research. I'm gonna let you guys talk a little bit so I could do this research. But this is what I thought the Olympics was, from my understanding. It was like very similar to football or soccer in other countries, where when they come together and put their national team together, it's a bunch of players from club teams in that country. They put them together, they gel, they go out, and they compete on a national level. Is that not how the Olympics work as it relates to basketball? Because I do know this. A couple weeks ago, I'm watching TV, and I see Simone Biles trying to qualify for the Olympics. And she is one of the most decorated Olympians of all time. Like, I don't think anybody's going to even come close to beating her. Like, she is the best, the creme de la creme of all the gymnastics. And they fucking made her qualify for the Olympics, bro. Do you hear what I'm saying, bro? They're making her qualify. Why couldn't they do it like the basketball players? Hey, you in, Simone. Don't worry about all the flips.
I don't know why, but I think it's because
Is that not stupid?
Well, I think because they have to qualify in other sports. I think in basketball and other sports, you just have your national team, and that's your team for basketball. You don't have to. I don't think there's that qualifying for any country.
I think your country just holds a tryout.
Bro, I didn't see Kevin Durant one time shoot a basketball for the Olympic trials.
No,
that's because he tries out during the year when he's playing NBA.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, all right. It makes sense. I guess.
I get like I don't. I think
you get what I'm saying though. Like, and everybody's
do,
wondering why the fuck our basketball team sucks, and we're picking them. That's why we're picking them.
Well, I think like it's a big deal. Is like you said, these players haven't played together, but I don't think that's the biggest thing. I think some of it is like we have some of our best players turn it down. Like if we wanted, we could literally have our top superstars and just dominate, but we don't do that anymore. Basically, not since the Dream Team have we had all stars, like all amazing people on the Olympic team, and then that showed because the Dream Team they never won by less than 30 something points. That was the closest margin of victory. We have close games now, so like things have changed. Obviously, the talent has grown internationally as well than what it was. That's a true statement because there's a lot of players in the NBA that are international now. So okay. I think that plays into it. But I think a lot of the players, like we have a lot of guys turn it down, and we just have guys that they're as good as the other players that are on the other team. And that's the thing is we only have and I don't know, they should be winning. I agree. We shouldn't have an issue, but who knows?
When I was watching the basketball game, they said we hadn't lost a game since 2004. 2004, Gary.
Yeah,
we stopped. We snapped a 25-game win streak. So it may have started with the Dream Team, but it didn't end with the Dream Team.
Dream Team. Games got closer over the times. The Dream Team blew everybody out. Since then, I don't think it's really been blowouts. We've had closer games, but that was the last time the team were just demolished.
Okay. All right. Okay. I feel like there's a better way to. I mean, I want to get guys that want to play in the Olympics. I don't want to get guys that have to be coerced into going over to Tokyo and just suiting up and playing for us. I want the hungry guys.
You do have some guys like Drew Holiday. He just played in the finals and then he went directly there. Like he had no break. Like that's tough on guys like that. Obviously, he's in the role, but like to me, the other guys that weren't playing in the playoffs, they should have been playing together, getting ready, because that way you're prepared. Again, you're representing America at that point. But I do have a question. I know we talk about basketball too much this time, so I'm moving it on to a different sport.
Yeah.
So I want to hear y'all's opinions when it comes down to this SEC possibly recruiting all these other schools to join, because they already reached out to Texas and Oklahoma supposedly, and now there's theory that they could be trying to reach out to Clemson, Florida State, Ohio State, and Michigan and try to make like a 20-team conference, a mega conference. I would like to know what y'all think of all that kind of stuff. Is that good for college? Is that bad? Why? And what's your thoughts on it?
Both. It's both. So the SEC, let's just take a look at the SEC from top to bottom. You have, and this is just me, and y'all can say what y'all want to say, but Alabama is the cream de la creme of the SEC. Okay. And then there's everybody else. But if you break down the SEC just by numbers and numbers alone, they probably have 4 or 5 teams every year to get close to the playoffs, and they lose and they fall by the wayside. So if you look at the SEC from top to bottom, they have 4 or 5 teams. Now, if you bring in the Ohio States and the Michigans, now it's a very, very tough conference. Not only is it a very, very, very tough conference from top to bottom, but now we're going to get more eyes on the SEC. There's more money coming in. But this is why I disagree with the SEC going after all those big schools. And this is just me being a hater, because if I can shift the powers to the SEC, I can lock out all other schools as it relates to marketing dollars. So everybody in the SEC from top to bottom are going to be making money from a player standpoint. Everybody outside the SEC is not going to make that much because you're not on TV as much as the SEC. Like literally every week there's going to be an SEC team, more than the SEC team, not just on the SEC network. It's going to be on ESPN, ABC, NBC, because now, you know, the Michigans that always get the NBC games, the Notre Dames, all of them that get those, now they move to the SEC side. So now those marketing dollars are those, everybody wants the SEC. The Speed Easy like really, they literally going to get everything. Not only are they going to get everything, but now when Alabama go to these bowl games and that money is trickled down through the conference after winning national titles or these bowl games, then now the SEC now is they're generating more money. Not only are they generating more money, they're on TV every day. Now the player that never gets in the game, that's sitting on the sideline, is making $2,000 or $3,000 a game because, hey, I'm on this team. That's why I disagree with it, because they really monopolize college football.
So we've already seen that forever. They've already been doing that to players. The college has been doing that forever. It's finally time the kids are getting it, which is good. But I think it could be a good thing. It could be bad. It could be good. Here's why I think it
tell
could
me
be
the good thing. I'm trying to see the good thing.
So the good thing is, if you want Memphis to be in a national championship, you could see Alabama lose to an Ohio State. They have to get through 6 more quality teams versus a Vanderbilt, a Kentucky. They don't have those aren't quality teams in the SEC. They have to get through these guys, which means they're going to eliminate themselves out of national championship contendership. In the SEC, there's technically only 4, possibly 5 on a good year teams in that conference. The rest aren't very good. You have LSU, you have Georgia, you have Alabama. You can usually count them as their top 3 teams. Then you'll have a mix of Florida, Texas A&M, and Auburn, who some years are good, some years are bad. Yeah. After that, the teams they're hit or miss. You might get one good year out of 10. So it's not like they're super top heavy. They have a couple good teams. So if you imagine if Ohio State, Michigan, Texas, and Oklahoma win it, they all got to play each other now, which makes great TV to watch because we can never see those matchups unless it's a national championship. And then now you see, okay, if you beat this team, if Alabama goes undefeated against all these teams, yeah, they are the best team. And there's no more of this, oh, well, this team didn't get a chance because they lost one lucky game and they didn't get to play them. They would have probably beat them. Now they've beat all the top competition. Now they have to beat the top competition, the other one. So it could be a good thing, but I know what you're saying. I understand how it makes the other teams in the other conferences. Now they're going to have to form other conferences to try to compete for the TV. But I think it can be done. But
it can't be done. You literally have handpicked all the good teams that are at the top of all the other conferences.
Well, you still have all the Pac-12. You still have Nebraska, who has their on and
off.
But
don't nobody watch the Pac-12. They come on at fucking 10 o'clock.
Well, I know that's the problem
Nobody's
for the East
watching
Coast.
them on the West Coast.
Yeah, it's hard for the East Coast, but they have teams that are good there. They haven't been good recently. They have been in the past with Oregon, and USC was amazing back in the day. Yeah, but that's the thing is this could be a way to get the other conferences opportunities to get national championship bids, because if you still have a championship in the SEC, that means somebody's getting knocked out. If you have two undefeated teams, well, they're not going to be in the national championship. Now you have somebody else get it. If all these teams, you're going to limit who can get in those. So that could be a good thing for other conferences, but it's still, I understand what you're saying. A 20-team conference would be outrageous, but it would have to shake up all of college and how everything would have to change.
Yeah, it'd be insane. I can't even believe that they even came up with that idea to try to make a super conference like that to knock out everything else. This is seriously monopolizing football.
Well, my thing is, I'd hate to say it because obviously there are other colleges that are in SEC, but I could see them wanting to leave. Obviously, they're not going to leave because of money, but you're telling me people don't want to see, they're not going to want to see Vanderbilt versus Texas or Vanderbilt or Kentucky. I know I went to Louisville. This is not big, but Kentucky is a bottom team in the SEC. Yeah. So Kentucky against Ohio State, nobody cares about that game. It's going to make it harder for those teams to compete for sure. And then how do you divide up the teams of 10-10 and who's playing each other each year? Because they already have where they have to play certain teams every year. So Oklahoma plays Texas every year. So you got to have the Red River Shootout. So how do you have that if they have to be on the opposite side? Well, that's one of your games scheduled. So it'd be interesting how the scheduling aspect would work. And then you're not going to get any out-of-conference games. I think if you do that, you don't have out-of-conference games. You play all in-conference games. You don't get any of this, we get to play a Division II school anymore. You don't get to play any of that. You're playing all your conference every year, no matter what, if they did that. To me, that's the way to make it where, hey, you have a chance. You have to come ready to play every week. You don't get a bye week, basically.
I like that. What you got, Tom?
Well, to me, I think that's just, because like you said, that's going to take away all of the inter-conference rivals, and it's just, they might as well just start their own league and their own championship if they're going to do that. And you make a good point about they're going to have to, make an exception for people coming out of that conference because they're just going to beat each other up every year. So I just don't see how that's going to work well, and it almost feels like somebody's hoarding all the talent into one conference, and it kind of reminds me of something else that we enjoy out here, which is wrestling.
Oh, so I wanted to get y'all. Nice transition.
All right.
Look at that.
I wanted to get y'all's take on what we've been seeing in AEW this week.
A bunch of rumors. If they come true, it could change everything. I know people, you have your WWE fan. I still watch WWE. We still watch.
I'm not excited about it. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not excited about it.
Super excited about it. But there's rumors out there that it's already a done deal that CM Punk will be coming back. It's just got to be signed to contract now. And there's heavy rumors that Daniel Bryan could be in AEW. So as a wrestling fan, obviously
he'll never go to AEW, bro. Daniel Bryan is the ultimate WWE jobber, bro. He's very similar. I'm gonna tell you who he is. I'm gonna tell you who Daniel Bryan is, and everybody can attest to this. But the last movie won't prove my point, but you'll get what I'm. Daniel Bryan is what is his name? The Woody from Toy Story. He's the fucking loyalist toy in the toy box. He gonna do everything he got to do to get back to Andy, and Andy is WWE. Well, if you watch this last one, You know, Andy was, I mean, not Andy, but Woody was like, you know what? I'm done. It's over with. I'm out. I don't think that Daniel Bryan has gotten to that point. They just didn't, it's not like he was fired. They just didn't renegotiate his contract.
Correct. And to me, that's a slap in the face. If you don't want to pay him, well, and he got his roots in New Japan. Well, New Japan wrestles with the AEW all the time, and their talent goes to New Japan. Why not do both? Go to AEW, you can still wrestle in New Japan. You can do everything you want, and you're not restricted. He couldn't do it in New Japan when he was at WWE. It's locked into WWE. So I think it could be great. And then
I'm gonna
like,
tell
I
you
know,
right now,
go ahead.
it ain't gonna happen. And this is the last reason why I'm gonna give you why Daniel Bryan is not gonna leave WWE, even though he didn't get re-signed. For a long time there, they wouldn't allow him to wrestle because of the shit that he had going on in his neck. His neck got well, and they decided to let him come back, and he wrestled, and it was a dream come true for him. He cried, he was all emotional. You think that he would give all that up to go to AEW to continue his wrestling career there? Or you don't think he would just wait out WWE because he was like, y'all have been loyal to me, I'm gonna be loyal to you?
If AEW is secretly a WWE company, I bet he would.
No. I hate you, you're a conspiracy theorist.
I hate
No,
conspiracy.
I would say no, because if they were that serious about him, why didn't you sign him? You've had since April.
Well, they didn't re-sign him. Maybe we didn't re-sign you because of the pandemic. You know, Vince gave him all the
It's
good
Daniel
excuses.
Bryan.
It's all, I'm giving you all my good excuses. Look, we got
Correct.
a lot of young talent coming up. We don't have the money to pay you. I wish we did.
And you
but
don't
we
think
because
Daniel
of the
Bryan sees through that?
I mean,
He's been in the business. He knows.
he got the lower eyes, bro. He got
I
the
don't
lower
know.
eyes. I'm telling you, man. If Daniel Bryan switch over to AEW, man, I'm gonna go to an AEW show with you and Ty.
Hey, they're in Jacksonville. Come on, that's where
How about that? How about that? That's the
love it.
bet.
Love
If Daniel Bryan
you're
shows
paying for
up,
both of us to go. Got it.
no, I'm not praying
No,
for both of y'all to go.
it's
I'll
done.
get y'all tickets into the AEW now. I get y'all the tickets now. But as far as like your travel and stuff, like, it's been a pandemic and shit. I'm like Vince McMahon there. Like, I got a hell of a lot of excuses on why I can't get you there.
Well,
But once you get there, I got you.
They're in Jacksonville. It's filmed here, so you're good.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I don't think he'll go to AEW. Now, back to your CM Punk point.
Yes.
I don't think CM Punk should come back. There's so much hype in him. CM Punk is more valuable to wrestling doing what he's doing now than him coming back to wrestling. It's you got to see it as like a rapper that just dropped, like, you gotta see like Lil Wayne after he dropped the Carter, or Nipsey Hussle when he dropped his last album. Like, you got to see it as like rappers or somebody died in their prime. That's how it was for CM Punk. His career died in his prime, and everybody's just like, he's the GOAT because his career died in his prime.
He walked out.
He
He pulled a Jordan.
Regardless
He
of what
pulled
he
a
did, I'm
Jordan.
talking about his
I
career.
feel like that's more of a Barry Sanders.
It even exactly. Barry Sanders will go down as one of the greatest running back, in my opinion, of all time, because of what he did with the opportunity that he had. It didn't go down to like him having 30 years or 20 years, a long career. It's the fact that he did the most.
All that matters is how long your career is.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter how long your career is.
Somebody on this podcast thinks that.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
I think longevity
it's what you do. It's what you do with the
when you're in
time
there.
that you have.
Correct.
Yes. Right.
It has nothing to
CM
do with
Punk,
longevity. If
yeah.
you choose not to, that's on you.
Absolutely. Because
That
we
should
know
be how
right
it gets
now,
you.
had Lil Wayne shut it down after the Carter, he'd have been the greatest to ever live to do it. But he kept doing it, and longevity wasn't on his side. It just wasn't on his side. We could say that for maybe Tupac and Biggie too. Had they stayed the duration and not got off there, now granted, we can't go back and see that, but had they not left us early, maybe they'd not be the greatest of all times, because now they have a time to make music to cancel themselves or fall into some slump or drought or whatever it is. I'm saying that CM Punk is better for wrestling, not wrestling, versus coming back wrestling, because now, we saw him in UFC, him losing, like, damn, that's jacked up, man. Come back to wrestling. Come back to wrestling. We miss you. We love you. Come back. The fact that we want him to come back is what he need to feel. Like, we love you because we want you to come back. But once you come back, you under our judgment. You under like, damn, bro, what you been doing? And now you came back, and this is what you bringing back.
So my thing with CM Punk, I think it would be amazing because if he came back, just think about what it's going to do to the wrestling business.
You think he still got his mic skills? You think he
Yes.
still has his
You
mic
don't lose
skills?
that. You don't lose it. You do not. You telling me Chris Jericho lost his ever?
I'm not. John Cena lost his.
John Cena was never good on the mic. I never
Bro,
considered him
what?
good. When I say good, we're talking Ric Flair, Chris Jericho, The
John
Rock,
Cena can
Stone
cut a
Cold.
promo now.
That's
Come on.
good on the mic. John
No.
Cena had his moments, but I would never consider him one of the tops on the mic.
Yeah,
Bro, hold up. Hold on. I just want to make sure that I understand what you're
Go ahead.
saying right now. Ric Flair.
You're correct.
Ric Flair. I want to make sure he cut one of the best promos
Correct.
ever. One time. You can't give me another fucking promo that he cut other than the
You
stealing
can
and
just nobody
stealing.
would know because it was all late 80s, early 90s.
Bro, nobody will know him because that shit wasn't good.
Rick,
They wasn't
I'm
good
not gonna let
promo.
the blast- I'm not gonna let the
He
blast.
cut one good promo, bro. He cut
No.
one good promo.
No,
He
I
cut
disagree.
one good promo, bro. You can't
Y'all
tell
both
me
being
another one that
crazy.
he cut.
Y'all both
Oh.
You
being
can't
crazy
tell me
right now.
another one that he cut.
I'm just telling you, there are so much better people with mic skills than John Cena. You have The Rock, better.
Yes.
Stone
Yes.
Cold, better.
Yes.
Chris Jericho, better.
No, you still hadn't named me one that's in the WWE right now that has better mic skills than John Cena.
Right now in the WWE. Well, maybe Seth Rollins.
Maybe. Maybe.
I'm saying arguably. I'm not saying 'cause
Maybe.
John Cena had his moment where he
There's
was
only
doing the
one
mic.
person. There's only one person that's to go to the mic, bro. There's only one person that's to go to the mic, and that's Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman single-handedly. I don't know if you saw it, but when he came out and he had the conversation with John Cena and he left talking about, when John Cena said the champ is here, he hit him with the tribal chief is here and then played his music through his vocals on the way out. I was like, this is fucking legend shit right here because people don't do this. And it took everything in John Cena's body to keep him from laughing. Very similar to when
Not a break, yeah.
yeah, trying not to break character. And I'm like, dude, this is great. This is legendary right here.
That's
There's
Paul Heyman.
nobody better than Paul Heyman on the mic, period. He is number
I would
one.
agree with you. But he's not a wrestler. I'm talking about wrestling.
Exactly. When we compare people, I'm comparing people to Paul Heyman. I'm putting CM Punk in that category, and there's only one other guy that I'm putting in that category.
You're not putting Cena?
I'm not putting Cena in that category, but there's only one other person that I'm putting in that category, and that's Bray Wyatt. Everybody else can kick rock.
Okay.
There's nobody else.
If you had original Bray Wyatt right now, he would be better than John Cena on the mic. But they're not letting him talk. And you know that. Just his character right now, they don't let him do it. But if he was able to talk, he's a better on the mic. I'm saying Cena has his
good on the
moments.
mic though.
I didn't say he's terrible. I'm saying I would never consider him a top echelon on the mic, though. He's good, but he's not a top guy. No, he's
Bro,
not.
did you hear the pop that he got when he got back?
Doctor of
because
Thugonomics.
He always gets pop. Like he always has been getting pop. Like that's the thing. And I'm still not a fan of him. He's still
Bro.
like he even created. He has the same.
I'm not a fan of John Cena
He
either.
reminds me of Roman Reigns in the aspect they have the same moveset and they do the same thing over and over. They don't change things up, and it's the same thing. So like that. So I take in all of it. He has his moments on mic, but he is not in the same level as Chris Jericho, as CM Punk. Not even close.
They legendary.
And that's what I'm talking about. Like, so imagine if you had CM Punk on the mic with Chris Jericho, or going against John Moxley's character, where he can say what he wants to say and not on a script. Or you have MJF, who is arguably one of the best mic skills now that's up and coming.
Period, bro. MJF is period. Like there's nobody close.
Imagine they're talking on the mic. How crazy it could be. Imagine him talking to Matt Hardy on the mic. Matt Hardy's good on the mic with his characters. It depends on the character he's in.
Yeah.
Like
the broken one was good, but like traditional Matt Hardy, I wasn't a fan of. I'm always Jeff Hardy.
Kenny Omega on the mic with them would be great. And even if you had Daniel Bryan, if he went too, you have matches with Daniel Bryan, you have matches with Kenny Omega, you have matches with MJF, you have Cody Rhodes, who's good on the mic in AEW, who's super.
So you don't think Cody Rhodes and John Cena are the same person on the mic?
I would say I'm saying he's good. I didn't say he was great. I'm saying it was good to see against.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
I think
I
there's
mean,
a
I feel what
difference.
you're
There's
saying.
good, there's great, there's exceptional. There's
Bro,
only four
I'm
or five
telling
that
you
are
right now,
exceptional.
as I sit down right here, bro. I get it. I understand. I'm a Ric Flair fan.
Yeah.
He cut one promo, bro. That was dope. That was the kids that like, I'm as far as his mic skills in the ring, the wooing and the energy levels. Okay, yeah, I get it. But his promos were not the promos like Stone Cold cut. Like
I'll give you another one that by wrestlers who say he's the best all time on the mic. Roddy Piper. He gets no
I wasn't a
love. Go
fan,
watch his
man.
documentary. It
I
is
wasn't a fan.
amazing because you'll see all of the other wrestlers that he is the reason why people are so good on the mic because they studied him because how well he did it at preparing himself because he was such a good villain and he could handle it on the mic. That's another that does not get that credit.
I don't know, bro. I've heard CM Punk say some crazy shit, bro. I was just sitting there. His wordplay, I was like, ooh.
But again,
MJF, his wordplay, I was like, ooh.
give me another one besides the pipe bomb you can talk about with CM Punk.
Right, that's what I was going to bring
the
up.
one when he had the feud with the feud with The Rock when he told him that he wasn't a legend, that he was a god, he was a wrestling god. I was like, dude, this mother CM Punk don't care.
It's all in this certain.
He crushed. He crushed The Rock on the mic, bro.
No, I'm saying he does great in the story, just like storylines wise. It's just like when he went against Undertaker, the storyline he had because this is right after Paul Bearer died, and he was bringing around the urn. Yes. Both of them on the mic were exceptional. Undertaker was exceptional, and he doesn't talk on the mic that often, but he was great. You can put Triple H and Shawn Michaels top echelon on the mic during the DX phase, but before, other than that, you wouldn't consider them exceptional.
They were dope.
Hulk Hogan on the mic in NWO, exceptional, but other times, no. You have your moments where they're exceptional because of the storyline or their character, just like Bray Wyatt. Right now, he doesn't talk. I wouldn't consider him a top mic guy, but when he was Bray Wyatt, he was amazing. So bro. I think it breaks it down to that. So that's why I say Cena's good. I said he has his moments where he's been great, but I would never consider him exceptional. I think Chris Jericho's always been amazing. He
has. But here's a question that I got for you guys before we go on to the next topic. Chris Jericho, obviously, he's unbelievable on the mic. How the fuck? And this is just me in my opinion, and I don't know anything about acting, but I'm a firm believer that Chris Jericho is a better mic guy and a better actor than John Cena and Miz. Don't get mad at me. And the Miz, as far as mic skills.
Also, it's funny you mentioned him. Another good on the mic is Miz.
He's really good. They're burying him right now. But I mean, I like his mic skills are unbelievable. That's what got him in there from the real world. Real world is the fact that he was really quick on his feet.
Yeah.
And it's gotten him to where he is today. But I don't understand, why does Chris Jericho not have movie roles? Why does MJF not have movie roles? CM Punk, like these guys. How did John Cena get this? Was it because of his look? Why does
I think a lot of it is Chris Jericho didn't pursue it. These guys aren't pursuing acting.
Okay. I didn't know if they got found or
wanted to pursue acting. Okay. It was more they used wrestling was their first thing, and then it catapulted them to have the ability to get into it.
Makes sense.
I think Chris Jericho had it. He just chose it. I don't want to. I enjoy wrestling. Or he was also a musician. He tours with his band all the time. That's his side gig. He'd rather do that than do acting.
Okay, that makes sense.
I mean, all I can say is John Cena can tell a story on a microphone, and I think that is one of the things that I enjoy that makes him great, and I'm going to leave that right there. But speaking of telling stories, let's talk about Serve the Story.
Hold on before we get on Serve the Story. I got a question. I have a question.
Okay.
You could probably cut this out if you want to, because this is a question that I have. Yeah, I'm not. I just got a question. Okay, so when we talk about album covers, I'm going into like you see the iconic Thriller with Michael Jackson, sitting with his elbow down in the white suit, or you see, the Beatles walking across Abbey Road in their album cover. Why are these album covers so famous? Are they famous because of the history that's associated with them? Like maybe, Abbey Road, I don't really know much about it. Or, I don't know much about Michael Jordan's suit. Or is it famous because the music that's associated with that album cover?
So I didn't know Michael Jordan made her
I
album.
mean, Michael Jackson is what
Okay.
I meant. Michael Jackson, yeah.
No, I would say it all boils down to the music. I think just that music's what made that, because it was such, both those albums. You want to talk about Beatles and you want to talk about Michael Jackson's Thriller. Those albums themselves had so many hits on them. They're shown everywhere. So the album cover became synonymous with them and with with folklore or with pop culture in general. So I think it's the music they created is what created those things to be so iconic.
Yeah, so like the Queen album when they had
Correct.
the heads and so it's because of the music.
It's all the music that was created is what made the album covers stick out. It had nothing to do with where they were at, what they were wearing. I don't think any of that mattered. I think they could have just been, it could have been a box. It could have literally just been a box with nothing on it. And if you release that great music, that album covers everywhere and you're going to see it and it becomes synonymous with everything.
Yeah, because right now it doesn't matter what you drop or what you do. I think the last like album cover that I remember was Get Rich or Die Trying with 50 Cent with the bullet hole on
I was gonna bring that one up.
Yeah. Because everybody just it's all streaming now. Everybody streams or they just download virtually, so they don't get album covers.
So
and they
that's
don't
the
look
death of the album cover, huh? Damn.
Yeah,
Wow.
and I think it definitely is the music, because you can have the coolest album artwork ever, but if you don't have any songs to tie to that artwork, you're not going to the album for the artwork. It's about the art that's on the album, and then so that gives you something to associate with how good the album was. So,
Okay, I'm glad you said that because Jay-Z's Blueprint. Do you remember what was on the album cover? Thank you. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. I wanted to prove a point. Yeah. So that means that the music that's on there is not legendary enough for you to remember the album.
I'm not a Jay-Z fan, so no. But I can tell you. But I can tell you Nas Illmatic's cover.
Right. I mean, I know. Is that the one where he's smoking a cigar, sitting somewhere or something?
Oh, I don't know. I just assumed that it was a Blueprint on the front of it. No. I don't know.
Well, I mean, but yeah, like Gary said, but I think it's if that's your music genre and that's your but the Thriller album, that one is one of those ones that's like timeless, no matter if you even really like Michael Jackson or not, because obviously you're talking about that was #1 record seller for forever. I'm not sure if it still has that. So that's part of it. But back to what I was getting at. I need y'all boys to talk to me about this Serve the Story season 5 that dropped on YouTube. Now artwork
Friday. Oh, insane, bro. Insane. And for all of you out there that haven't seen it's chapter 5.
Or any of them. Chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So much improvement from each one.
Oh, man.
He's making our artist is making so much more animated. Things are starting to come alive, and it's getting better and better, and loving it.
It's getting insane, bro, to the point where like I let the kids watch it and they're just like, Daddy, it's so cool. Can we watch it again? They've watched Love and Basketball like 6 times, bro, because they like the storyline. I love it. Like to the point, bro, now where they literally say the words when you say the words as you're saying it. And I'm sitting over there so proud. But it's never when I'm talking, though. It's either when you talking or when you're talking time. So I'm just like, damn, y'all don't like my part?
It's because they get enough of your voice every day. So.
Correct.
That's probably what it is.
But isn't that funny? Does it make you feel like you're an animated or an animator now? Do you sit back and think like when they're watching Disney and you're like, hey, that's my voice on there that they're copying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think it's amazing because I think it's within the next few, he's going to be making it where it's fully animated. It's going to get to that point, and that's awesome. I think he's already doing a great job.
Yes.
And he's just going to keep improving. And our stories, obviously, they're all over the place, but it's fun.
Yeah, each chapter is its own chapter and its own story. It's its own thing. So chapter 1 and 5 they're not the same. They're completely different. You got to look at it like Dr. Seuss. I mean, not like a Dr. Seuss. You got to look at it like a Goosebumps trilogy. Like everything falls under Serve the Story, but each chapter is different. Like a book in R.L. Stein's what do you call the
collection?
Encyclopedia. Is that what you call a collection of books?
Yes, you can. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's what you got to do. So if you guys get time, go over to our Cinnamon and Sugar YouTube page, subscribe, and go check out some of the Sir the Stories, man. They're pretty dope. Gary, myself, Time, we put a lot of improv hours into these, and our animator has brought it to life, and he's done a great job bringing it to life.
And just for reference, season 6 will not be showing. We're going to take about a month and a half off, giving our animators some time, and then we're going to be back for the Serve the Stories. We'll still be here doing the podcast, but the Serve Stories, it'll be a little bit of time, but we're going to get those coming back soon.
I think what we need to do, though, in the meantime, and this can be behind the scenes curtain for everybody. Why don't we set up a watch party where we do a live reaction to it, and we'll put that on our YouTube.
Oh, hell yeah! Let's do that.
So that could be good. Give them a little something to watch in the meantime.
Yeah, man, we should check that out, man. Chapter 5 is something else, though. And the reason why we can't really talk about much of the chapter or anything that happens in the chapter, because we don't want to give anything away through
spoilers, even though he loves to spoil everything, but
that's why I can't say nothing, because I'm gonna definitely spoil it. I'm gonna say some shit where you just like, dude, don't say that. And I'm like, well, it's too late now, and let it go.
And for the fans of The Amazing Race, this one was started by one of the contestants.
By the one and only James Wallington.
Right. I wasn't sure if you wanted me to drop it or not, but there you go.
Oh, good. He started it up for us. And so season 6 and season 7 also have special guest starters as well.
So be ready.
Be ready. Look at that.
Be ready. Well, that will wrap it up for this week's episode of the Cinnamon and Sugar Podcast, and we appreciate you tuning in. And
that's interesting. That is very interesting, Tom.
Hey guys,
will wrap it up for us when you didn't tell us when you didn't wrap it up and got somebody pregnant, and we had to find out through an announcement.
Lord have mercy. Here we go.
It is crazy because we were told. First time I found out was on Facebook.
That's what I'm saying. And we talk to each other fucking every week, bro. He gonna say, "I thought I told y'all." Like, how you thought you told
y'all?
When it's not that close, obviously.
You're right.
That's what
we gotta remember. He has been to Jacksonville twice and never seen my house.
It's not actually Jacksonville.
Right.
We were about an hour north of Jacksonville, and I don't have a car when I'm there. So
Gary, I'm glad that he told you that, because he called me and told me that they was coming down to visit and they was gonna stop by the crib. And then during the time he said they was gonna stop by the crib, he never called, texted, anything. And then I asked him the next day, like, bro, what happened? He was like, "Oh man, we had a change of plans." Well, damn, you ain't gonna tell the person that you had plans with that they changed?
Sounds like a time move.
We did not have plans. I said it's a possibility, and then
that shit going on Toxic Tuesday, man. People that make plans with you, they make plans with you, and then don't call and tell you when the plans have changed, and you just over there just.
Speaking of Toxic Tuesday, when's that going to come to the YouTube channel? Did you talk about
everyone's waiting.
I'm working on it this Tuesday. We may have a Toxic Tuesday coming to the YouTube channel.
Oh, man. If it is, I'm joining.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know. Tuesday, we'll see. 8 between 8 and 8:30, somewhere around that time, depending on when I get back.
Don't let me down.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, I'm gonna tell you something, Gary. I told my wife this. She thought it was funny. Well, we had the conversation the other day when you was talking about, and then we can close this podcast out. When she said, when you was talking about, you're not going to your grandfather's funeral. I said, yeah, I'm gonna make him a pallbearer so he can let me down one last time.
Wow.
The joke's been used, sir. That joke's been used.
Yeah, I know. It's been insane. Like I said that.
I need you to come up with some more material.
She was like, wow, you really said that? I was like, yeah, me and Gary kind of at that level now where we could joke about stuff like that.
That seems like a perfect place to end this podcast. We appreciate you tuning in for this week's episode of the Cinnamon and Sugar Podcast. And if you have any extra funds to send to me, because I owe Gary $50.
You do.
My Venmo is @time. THYME. I appreciate y'all tuning in. We out.
You are now listening to the Cinnamon and Sugar Podcast featuring D'Angelo Williams and Gary Barnage. You are now listening to the Cinnamon and Sugar Podcast featuring D'Angelo Williams and Gary Barnage. You are now listening to